been over 2 years since I had my mother voice my character's mother in a video game. And we're going to talk about it today with the voice of Monica Gunner.
Hello everyone. We're going to discuss this and you're going to know how I'm feeling about it.
Okay, as you know, I had you play Monica Gunner, which is Shane Gunner's mom.
Yes.
And I had you voice while I controlled the character, but you were the voice of Monica Gunner.
Yes.
How did you feel? What was your initial reaction when I asked you to play that part?
Oh, I thought I couldn't do it. I thought I've never been in the world of it. And then I think it was quickly where I said, yeah, I'm going to do this. I can do this. I'll do it.
Yeah, we sat right where you were.
Yep.
And I had the microphone in front of you, and
Yep.
there was a push pedal where you just step on it to talk, so you knew when you could talk.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, it was all new to me. I knew nothing about that world or how it worked or anything. None at all. But I was excited to do it with you. I really was. It was something that we had never done
having
together.
my mom play
Your mom?
my character's mom.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Well, I didn't like your character very much.
What parts did you not like about my character?
The character's main goal in life and his reach for the stars attitude. There is no Shane doing drugs. There is no business of that effect. He's not exactly how you were raised. So that was a little hard for me. It was.
Speaking of like it wasn't like who I was, did you have any input on like the character that you played's personality, their backstory, or anything like that?
Yeah, we didn't have a backstory. We just knew what had been revealed about her, which was, I don't think there was much of anything
I think
revealed.
you actually added that she was an electrician.
Yes, in that we knew the only thing that was really known by the community was that Texas. You know, even picking out her clothes, picking out her style,
Right.
picking out her hair,
So
building
you did
her.
influence that.
Oh yeah, everything about her glasses, her hair, her body type, her mannerisms, the little quirks she had. Oh yeah. That's about it. I think everything else was made up that night.
Yeah, so like whenever you got into the taxi and you started talking to them.
That was all me. It was all about how I am as a person, and how I feel about my son, why I was there, the passion, all of that is the same way I feel about you in real life.
Whenever I told you that I wanted you to do this,
Mm-hmm.
did you do anything to prepare? Did you like?
No. You just said, come up, let's do this, and we did it. It was I did know that it was not, at the beginning, I knew that it was not going to be a continuation. It was going to be a one and done. It's a one-time character. We're doing this one time. It's going to be over with. There's no future for this character. None of that. But I had no idea what was going to happen to the character or how it's going to go. Because that all goes by the people you get in contact with. None of it was known.
Yeah. And it's been over 2 years now, and that name is still discussed in roleplay today.
Mm-hmm.
When we were at the cafe meeting with the club,
Yes.
we kind of started to feel like some stuff was up.
Yes. The whispering in the corners, the people turning, the attitudes of people, and that's when I met Larry Tate. I loved interacting with Larry Tate. All of them were people that you could see perfected their roles. It's hard to imagine a face behind these roles because they are who you see and who you interact with. So I was totally impressed with how they stayed in character. There's so many, everybody who was acting with me all had their own streams.
Technically their own stories.
Yes, their own stories. And so it's so amazing to see in real life even. It puts it in perspective how in real life you actually are a vital part of everyone else's story. And this is how it is in real life. And you don't realize that every moment of every day you are in someone else's story.
That's the thing I think I love the most about roleplay is no matter what you do, you either there's consequences or there's effects, there's ripples in other people's stories based off of what your character does. And it could be someone who you've never interacted with before, but your story somehow has affected them.
Yeah. It was a great experience at that point. You really see the depth in the commitment that goes into making these stories for people.
What do you think was the most challenging thing to do this all live in an unscripted like environment?
Constantly second guessing yourself before you make a move. It all happens so fast. You don't have time to think about what's going to happen. And I can't imagine controlling the steps of people like you were helping me control, and you were doing her hand movements, and I would tell you what I was going to say, and you would work with me to get her to do the right move and things like that. That is so challenging to me that it's hard enough for me to want to say the right thing at the right time and catch what's going on, and then having to move and do all those things, it's challenging. It's challenging. The story kind of plays itself out. You just have to remember to not let it affect you personally, and that's what I had. That is challenging. It's just a story.
Right. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because you've had some, you still bring this up.
Oh, I'm still pissed as hell. When I realized that that things were not going to go well for me, and in the casual way in which Larry Tate and the others could just get rid of me after we've had this talk, and I rode on a motorcycle, and we shared that it was just so simple of a thing for them to do. If something happens to me, you'll never see Shane. Never. You tell that to Larry. I was livid when I found out what was happening, and I don't know why. Because I knew I'm not going to be a role player. I mean, I don't do that. But the casual way in which they calculate, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes, because I'm sure their stories are all showing all of that portion, but to know that they could just so easily do that. I need justice for her. She became part of who I am. And I know that you and I had talked about it. I said, well, I, and you would say, Mom, it's Monica.
Right.
Or like I say you, and you say, no, Shane. If I did this full time, I'd be a mess. Because each character that I did would somehow become a part of who I am, instead of just me becoming a part of those characters. And I think that's the fine line with people who do this full time, like you and all of the others. You give a piece of yourself to the character, but you don't let the character take a piece of you. And I let that character take a piece of me.
I don't know. I think you're onto something there, because I do add a little bit of me into the characters, and I do that just to give them a sense of more realism and immersion. It becomes a part of you, just like you're a part of them.
Like, look, here we are sitting 2 years later, and I'm still upset. When she died, the relationships that I built in that short, how many hours? 4 hours? Did we do 4 or 5 hours?
It was about 4 hours.
4 hours. And that 4 hours, I felt when she died that I lost all those people. I'm no longer part of the story. I'm no longer able to one-up Larry Tate in a conversation. I'm no longer to tell the young lady, bless her heart, who I said, my son would never choose you to date.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
You are
about
Shane's
that.
girlfriend?
That's Shane's girlfriend. Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. Not right, Jess.
You really don't look like his type. I mean, how awful is that? But I lost all of that. I felt like I had just... That's a hard feeling. I was affected by it.
Watching it back.
The YouTube video?
Watching the video. That basically, after I got done editing it, and then you watched it.
That was incredible, by the way. That edit was incredible.
Well, thank you.
It was incredible.
How did it feel to see your character's storyline play out in the game?
I was so proud of Monica Gunner in her feistiness to fight for her kid, no matter that he was grown or not, to get on a plane. She's not stupid. Monica was very smart. She knew the type of people that she was dealing with before she even got there. She pretended not to know, but she knew. And I was very proud of the character for, even when she realized what was going to happen, she felt like she needed to follow through for the sake of her son.
Why was she actually visiting?
She was trying to see if they kept wanting Shane to come back, and she did not want Shane to come back. And so I figured I'd go talk to Larry Tate to figure out what was going on, because I didn't like the way your life was going. And I knew that he had some kind of control and hold over you. And Shane's deep, you know, she had no idea how deep he was in. And so, but I am proud of what her storyline gave other people storyline. We had doctors, policemen, you know, beach cars. We had a beach scene, artists, newspaper artists. You know, there are just so many people. Again, that 4 hours affected everyone's life out there who came even remotely within range of what was going on.
Yeah, well, her story's definitely been like a really fun one to be a part of, and like even though that character ended that day,
It did
the
end.
story continues. It still continues now, but like Shane's still looking for answers, and he's slowly getting stuff, but is it the right stuff? You know, like
Yeah.
So it's still, there's a lot of people
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna hang in there until till somebody finds out what all happened. It's gotta come one day. No, never.
I don't know. That's the thing with roleplay. Like you don't
Never,
know. You don't know
never.
if the truth will come out or not. What do you think about the role of storytelling in GTA roleplay, and how did it feel to be part of a larger narrative? We've kind of been talking.
We've been talking about that, but you know, when you would say role play, I'd kind of go, what? You know, you don't really understand what it does for each person. Each person does it for a different reason. And you know, that you have the thing where people say it escapes life. You're escaping your own life. And that could be a concern of mine if I were to do this day in, day out. But it also brings a way for you to experiment with avenues in your life that you can't take in real life. Like we had even talked, like if I wanted to come back to role play and I love German food or whatever, let's do a German cafe. Actually, it's so well done that you actually feel like you get the experience of real life. And I think that you could actually try things that you are afraid to, or don't have the money to, or the where you live in order to do these things. So you can try them out to see if this is something that you really want to do in real life. You know, I want to pursue this, or you know, because the people have businesses and police officers. You know, it lets you have a more fulfillment of where you want to be in real life.
Yeah, that's true. And like you can go skydiving, you
Absolutely.
can go
Yeah.
you can kind of get out of your shell a little bit as someone different. So I can see that.
I would be afraid that it would totally consume some people. Personalities are different. That would be the downside of it, is that it consumes you and prevents you from being who you are. But I can also see where it enhances you and allows you to be a better version of you in the real world.
Is there anything you learned from this experience that surprised you or changed your perspective on gaming?
Yeah, like we just said, I was after we did our thing, I actually got to do a chat with the people who were watching or whatever, and this community is hardcore. We are one thought process. I mean, everyone's friends, everyone talks outside the chat. People become lifelong people that you associate with. You surround yourself with the people in your group. So you have built a network of like-minded people who are creative and talented. And I do believe that just the short time that I was involved, that you could reach out to these people, and I think they'd be there. I think so too. Yeah.
Would you be interested in voicing another character in the future?
Yes, absolutely. But the problem for me is I don't want to use, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but the mechanics of it all, and if I could get that down without feeling awkward, Absolutely, but learning the gaming version of it, if it was just voicing it over like we did, absolutely. Like I would do a 1-day thing of anyone. You asked me to be someone, I would definitely do this again. Had Monica have lived, I probably would have tried harder to learn how to do it myself so I could interact with the same people. The whole fun of it for me was being with you and people you knew and things like that. So that's where I'm with that. I don't want to do it alone.
I had a really fun time doing it. I think it was different. It was unique.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many people have ever thought about bringing in somebody else to do the voice while they.
Yeah.
And I just.
Yeah.
Throw behind you.
Yeah. She was a badass. She was a badass.
Well, thank you very much for
welcome.
voicing and sitting here and talking about it and stuff.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too, Nate. Very much. It was great.
I wanted to give a shout out to my mom for being such a good trooper about just being involved in roleplay for me. And then also I want to thank you guys for watching. And if you haven't checked out the Monica series yet, go over on YouTube /IamRedSeal and go give it a watch. Thanks.